Hello everyone, this is Professor Robert Solis. Welcome to this video lesson. We're going to be talking about structures in Visual Basic. So let me switch over here to Visual Studio and give you a very simple program demonstration here of how we use structures. First of all, I'm going to ask the user to enter their personal information, like first name, last name, and the birth date, and also their GPA. And then I'm going to pull this information, I'm going to put it into these labels when I click the Submit button. But how I'm going to transfer the information from the text boxes to the label, that's what I want to talk about in terms of using structures. So let me double click on the Submit button so I can go into the code area, or I could have clicked on the tab. And let me describe what a structure is. Well, first of all, in terms of the syntax of it, you type the word structure, whatever the name of the structure is, and then when you press enter, end structure will appear, and you type in the content in between. So what a structure is basically all different kinds of data types in one collective area. It's a group of nouns, so to speak. So for example, you know that in an array, it can be an array of all integers or an array of all doubles. Well, in a structure, I can have different kinds of data types. For example, this first name is a string. Same thing with last name. The birthday, month, day, and year, those are all integers. And then my GPA, that's a double. So notice that I have all different kinds of data types here under one big umbrella called student. So what is a student? A student is a structure, or in this case, it's a collection of all of these different members. That's what we call these guys. So the first name member belongs to student. So does the last name member. That belongs to student, so forth and so on. A student is basically all of these different items, which we can think about as nouns. All right, so now if I create a student, like over here when I click the button, let's say that I create Robert as a student. Well, what does Robert have? Robert has all of these different members, a first name, last name, birth, month, day, year, and a GPA. So if I want to access those members, that's what I can do down over here. So let's take the person's first name from the text box, which is entered over here. Let's get that information and place that into Robert's first name member. So we say Robert dot, and then the dot gives you a drop-down list. So let me get rid of this dot, and then you'll see all of the different options that I have, or access to the various members. Well, in this case, I want the first name member, so I double-click on that. So what I'm about to do is to place the text property of this text box into the first name member of Robert. Why? Because Robert is a structure. Specifically, it's the student structure. And I can do the same thing with all the other items. So I'm going to obtain the person's last name and put it into the last name member of Robert, and so forth and so on. Over here, I'm going to obtain these items, and as you can see over here, they're going to be integers and a double, so that's why I have to use the convert.toInt into 32 to convert these text items into numbers. Even though the user entered 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, it's still being treated as a text. So I have to convert that into a number to put it into birth month, because birth month, as you can see over here, is an integer. All right, over here, I obtained the person's birthday, birth year, put that into Robert.birthday and .birth year. And then finally, I'm going to obtain the GPA, and that GPA is going to be treated as a double, so that's why I convert that to a double, because it's a real number. Somebody could enter in 3.5, say, for example. And so I want to put that into the GPA member of Robert. All right, so this is an example of how I can place data from text boxes into the various members of a structure. Let me scroll down a little bit and let's talk about the output. Well, I want to populate all of these labels with the items that are over here in the text box. Now, I know I put all these into a structure, so let's get that structure information and place them into the label. All right, so into the LBL first name.text label, we're going to place Robert.first name. Again, first name is one of the members of this structure, so we place it into there. Same thing with the last name, birthday, month, day, year, and same thing with the GPA. So let me go ahead and run this program, and we'll say Robert Solis 1-1-2000. My GPA, of course, is 4.0. Submit. All right. So now you can see that the information has been transferred from the structure to these various labels. Let's see what happens here if I put 4.999. Then this comes out to 4.999. All right, if for whatever reason you want to limit the number of numbers after the decimal point for the GPA, then you can do something like this. So let me comment this line out and reactivate this bottom line, where I'm going to take Robert's GPA. So Robert.GPA gives me access to the GPA member because Robert is a student, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the .to string, and what this F1 means is that we're going to fix the number of numbers or digits after the decimal point to 1. So if I were to run this program again, and let me just type in some data really quickly, 2000, and we'll say 4.99999. When I click submit, notice that we're only going to have one number after the decimal point because that's what that F means. So we're going to fix the number of digits after the decimal point to 1. And since that's a 4.9, that's going to round up to 5.0. And so that's how this works out. All right, so in terms of the structure, the downside of what I have right now is I'm only able to create one student, Robert. Let's say that I wanted to create another student, Dim Kristen, as student. Okay, so now I have two students that I've declared as students. Kristen also has a first name, last name, month, day, year for her birthday, and then also a GPA. Now in this case, I created two students. Can I create another student? Absolutely. Dim Jackson as student. Dim Joshua as student, so forth and so on. Now I have a collection of 4 students. So I think you can see that structures are powerful and very useful in that you can combine all different data types. You can think of these as nouns into one collection. These are members within a particular structure called student. Now, the downside is look how many students I have to create. I have to name them one by one. So what if I want Tim, Kelly, Stacy, Jennifer, so forth and so on? I'd have to individually create all of these students, and that's not a very efficient way of doing that. So next time what we have to do is talk about creating an array of students or an array of a structure, and then that way I can have as many students as I want that are defined by the size of the array. All right, so that's it for now. This is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this video lesson was helpful. You guys have a good day. We'll see you next time.